today's meeting to order for June 7th at 11:30 a.m. for the Ad Hoc Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. May I get a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Co-Chair Chavez.
Here.
Co-Chair Colbert. Member Hart. Member Selman.
Here.
Member DeCiani. Member Rutledge. And Member LaPlante.
Here. All right, and then may I get approval for the minutes from our regular meeting on Tuesday, March 15th?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Any public comment today?
No.
Okay, so for Chairwoman's remarks, I first just want to mention that Sadie Colbert had an injury today that needed to be seen by a doctor, so she will be absent today, but she is sorry to miss.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Before you proceed, we need to pass a vote to allow the members that have joined the meeting that are not part of the committee normally to participate in order to formal sworn.
Okay.
Okay, you can just make one of the members. You don't need to take a vote. You can make one of the members who is not member of this committee a member for today.
Oh, are we short on quorum?
Yes.
Oh, I
apologize.
Oh, okay. So, who would like to join the committee today? Okay, so I would like to make a motion to have Member Renahan officially join the committee today. May I get a motion?
No, no motion. You have the authority.
Oh, I have the authority to welcome you to the committee then. So thank you for joining us. Okay, wonderful. Do we need to redo the votes at all, or?
Why don't you start? Yes.
Okay, so let's start again. So let's do a motion to approve the minutes, please.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion officially passes now. All right, no public comment. So Chairwoman's remarks. I really just want to focus on thanking staff today. All the items that we have on our agenda today have had a lot of behind the scenes work with the finance committee, with the procurement committee, with talking to different vendors. So I just really want to thank you because I know it's been a laborious process, but I really think that the items that we have today are going to move DuPage County into the next century, really, and it's exciting what we have on the agenda. And so I really want to thank everyone for all the hard work that they've put in. So thank you, thank you. So with that, let's get right into all the updates we have. So Anthony, if it's okay, I'll turn it over to you.
It is fine.
Okay,
Thank you
wonderful.
very much, Madam Chair. And let me say, while I set up my presentation, that it absolutely is a team effort. So a lot of the teams here. And even though I will be presenting on behalf of the team, the efforts that you see here are a culmination of what they put into it over the past couple of months. So we'd like to provide the committee with an update to what we've done over the past couple of months. When we met in February, we had a long list of items that we brought to the table. We're going to focus today really on the major updates of the items. So I'll start with that, which is giving you an update of those four major items. And then I'll hand it over to Greg and Lisa. They'll give us an update on how things are going with Choose DuPage. So I'll start out with I'll work from left to right, the tracking to B2G Now, which is our diversity and inclusion tracking application. So we executed the contract since our last meeting. We have formed a implementation team. We completed our kickoff of the project, and we're happy to say that it's underway, and we are on track to complete it by August. So we'll have the new tool in place to allow us to track all vendors moving forward, but also our minority vendor and veteran participation. So that's great, and we're moving forward with that. Disparity study, which is kind of the heart and the meat of what we're trying to do. It's where the data comes. We've made a lot of progress there as well. We have selected, of course, Colette Holt and Associates. We used a Cook County agreement to bring them in, and we hope to procure it after your approval using that contract. If you remember when we presented to you guys in February, we said that there's a good chance that it would take 18 months and that it will cost us about $500,000 to complete. I'm happy to say that through very great negotiations of our finance department procurement, we were able to bring that number down. So to 209,000. And we hope to complete the process instead of 12 to 18 months, 11 to 12 months. So the contract amount is $209,000. And we'll talk, it's on the agenda, we'll request approval to contract with Collette Hope. And then the second big update, which I think is important, even though we're very focused on bringing in staff to help us move this strategy along, it's been a challenge, but it's been a challenge, I think, for all areas. Even I'll use IT as an example. We have been trying to hire an ERP manager for months now, and I think we only had 3 candidates apply to a $100,000 job. So it's the same with the diversity and compliance officer role. We posted the position in March. We've received candidates. They've been very heavy on the compliance side, but we really need someone who's a little more balanced. So they understand how to manage compliance after we implement it, but we have to implement first, right? So we need somebody who understands strategy. We need somebody who can help us develop the programs and validate the data and bring in the right team to move forward. So we've had some challenges with that, but here's a couple things that the planning committee would like to move forward with and we think makes a lot of sense. Number one, the salary is a little lower than what's been offered in the industry, so we'd like to increase that salary. We'd like to do a little more research in terms of what makes sense for our county, just to make it competitive so that we can bring in the right talent to do that. We also are going to take a better look or a more detailed look at the roles and responsibilities of the position, make adjustments where necessary. I think we were very excited about the role, so we put everything into the job description. I think now it's time for us to trim it down and make it more focused on what we're trying to achieve here in DuPage County. So we'd like to do that. And then we also believe that it may make sense for us to postpone that hire, right, for a few months at a minimum. Bring in a consulting company that has that experience to help us build the structure that we need in place. Also using ARPA funding, the same ARPA funding we're going to use to hire the role, and then bring that person in longer term when a lot of that structure is in place. Plus, just gives us more time to find the right person. So even if we find the right person, we also have the contractor here together. They'll build a stronger foundation for us to move forward on. All right. So that's where we are with the compliance officer role, and then the public act. So with the public act 102-0265, for those of you who don't remember, this act requires taxing districts, including DuPage County, to make a good faith effort to collect and publish vendor and subcontractor data. So on that side, we're doing that, and that applies to all procurement. So whether it's a prime, whether it's a subcontractor, whether it's a consultant, that we have to collect all of that data and publish it. So it was, IT has created an online application, a transparency portal, D&I transparency portal, and I'll demonstrate to you guys, demonstrate that to you guys in a second. But it will allow us to collect the information and adhere to that good faith effort. Once we launch the portal, vendors have 60 days to self-report. So we're asking them to go into the portal, self-report, follow the form, and you'll see it's a very easy process. Procurement is also updating their standard procurement packet so that forms are in there for them to complete. And for department purchases that are under 15K, I'm so excited about that. Anything, let me move that over. Anything that's 15K or under, the department heads have to notify the vendors to go in and self-report. All right. The collected information will be made available via the transparency portal as a dashboard so that the information is there for the public to consume and use. The last point I think it's important is that the goal is to launch the portal and have the vendor start reporting at the beginning of July. So after you approve it, we're ready to go. July is a good starting point for us. Okay, so those are the major updates. Then I'm going to move on to this form, which is hard to see, but let's see if I can watch it here. All right. So this is our transparency portal. If you look at the top, it basically explains the ordinance to anyone who goes there to submit information. Then here are the fields that we're collecting, which are all fields that are required as part of the ordinance. So we're requesting a quote or bid number. Right now it shows that it's a requirement. We're going to modify it so that it's not a requirement. Some of them may not know it, they may have that information handy, but our procurement department does. And once we receive the information, we'll match their submissions with our procurement data. Contacting department will be listed. We have all of the possible departments that potentially they would be working with, so they can select those departments. We ask them to identify their vendor type, whether they're a prime contractor, whether they're a prime consultant, sub-consultant, or subcontractor, or whether they're just a vendor. Their name, address, all of that important information, as well as their status as a minority, women, or better known organization. It's very easy. I'll start with the minority. Are you a minority or business or not? Yes or no. Are you certified? Yes or no or not. And if you are certified, what certifying agency did you use? City of Chicago, IDOT, PACE, or any of the others. Same thing with women on, same thing with veteran on, same. And then if self-certifying, do you qualify as a small business under the Federal Business Administration standards, which we'll post a link to that. We'll add that to here, and yes or no. And then we just ask them to then certify who is the person who's submitting the information, so we make sure it's a legit submission. So submit form, that's it. And then it goes to our database. Then we take that information and we will present it in the form of a dashboard, depending on what data we want to post on our website.
Any questions, Member Selman?
Just a quick question. Can you
Yep.
scroll back up towards the top? The second field about which department they're working with?
Sure.
Does procurement necessarily think that folks know which department they're working with, or is that, do you think, too granular on our end? Should we make, my question is, should we make that optional as well in case they don't know?
That's good.
So Anthony, if you want to, I can handle that one. I mean, a lot of these, we had that discussion in our meetings, and the team, Anthony was correct, the team is meeting every week on this one. There are going to be some hiccups on that. So we envision something where we might have to go in and correct it if they don't know. But I think our role is to get it out there, push it out there, see where the problems are, and then correct it as we go. That may very well be a problem, but we do have the ability to clean stuff up on a list.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and we can make this one optional as well. So
I like the cleanup idea. I mean, I think it's easy once you get the contract in place, then you go in and say, oh, they thought they were going to be doing this, and they make a general guess. I think most people hopefully will get close.
I agree.
Yeah.
They should have some idea.
Right, where they're going to, I'm sure there's something you could pull from ERP to compare it to. So
We
you
can.
You could do like
Okay.
a flag, be like, oh, that doesn't match that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We can do that, or I hate to put that responsibility on purchasing, but they have the ability to match it as
Site
well.
had not over there.
All right, I'm going to go back into the presentation, but I want to take a pause to see if there's any additional questions. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Chris Snyder, Valente, thank you. Valente and Mayor Catherine Wells played a huge part in this process, and a lot of this, the meat of it comes from them. So I want to give them a chance too, if there's anything they'd like to add.
Any questions? questions or comments? Wonderful. Do you need any kind of consensus from the committee at this time?
It's actually on the agenda.
Okay,
There's a
okay.
part for moving forward with Ad-Hoc that we
Okay.
would like to get from you. The last part I have
Okay,
before
that's really
handing it over to Greg and Lisa is that just want to remind everyone that what we're doing now, even though it's very detailed and it creates a solid foundation for us, it's just one portion of what we need to do long term. So the real solution would be comprehensive for all departments, for for supplier diversity and inclusion, but also we need to look at HR as well, right? So a true D&I strategy includes HR and vendor management, includes both of them. So our longer term goal is to look at it in a more broad sense and capture both pieces of that of that strategy and make sure that we cover it. But right now it's supplier management dealing mainly with public works. We hope to perfect it and then clean it up and then roll it out to the rest of the departments later on. All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, wonderful. So the only thing that I had a question on, Anthony, then is that diversity compliance officer. Do you need some sort of group consensus that we're going to pause that for a little bit, or that we're going to relook at that? And
That would be great
okay,
if you could.
okay, that's what I thought we needed to do today.
That's
So
okay.
so I do have some concerns because I do think this, what's interesting about our role is we're starting from ground zero, right? So we do need someone who can manage that strategy, can take the information that Ad-Hoc gives us, can make sure that we really develop a plan in place. To your point, what other departments do you eventually want to bring in at what time point? So this isn't just a compliance officer that's taking a plan that's in place and implementing it. We are literally building a plan. So I think that that's the tricky part of this right now. But you all have done more of the background work. Are you comfortable with waiting, or do you think that we need to, as a committee, instead up our job description, perhaps up the salary, but still keep it out there on the market right now?
I think what we're asking for and what would help us is for you to give us the flexibility,
Okay,
right?
okay.
To do either or.
okay,
So we will move forward with updating the position description to make sure that it has the right roles and responsibilities. We will update the salary and then we'll work on timing when it makes sense. It may make sense to bring them in at the same time as a consultant who has the experience and expertise, learn with that
I agree.
person. And then when that the compliance officer is comfortable, maybe then we can get rid of the consultant and they can move forward.
I like
But
that
it's-
tandem idea
yeah.
the best. Does anyone have any comments or thoughts, or?
I want to agree that I think the tandem part works really well, because the new hire is going to be someone that we want to have that looking forward, thinking really big, but we want the consultant to be here who knows just this is how you get the work churning, so that they have a running start. So I think that's a really smart method of trying to get sort of both ends of expertise in a pretty financially smart way.
I agree. And that's why I'd like to see us be a little bit more aggressive with the salary right now, because I think this is such a critically important role. And I think we're not the only ones in the country, across the country, that are doing this right now. So it's a very niche market, I think, that we're looking for someone in. And so I think we need to make this a priority as a county. And so I would like to see us give a lot, more leeway, within appropriate means, but to get this done.
That makes sense.
Do I have consensus from the committee?
definitely.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's move forward with that. And then I think we have consensus on our consensus items, so we can move on to our procurement requisitions.
Well, I think we missed
Are you old business, or are you?
the part of the presentation.
I've been called worse.
They're actually the second part of the presentation.
Oh, they are, okay,
Yeah.
got it, okay, my apologies. All right, we will wait then. Right.
Yesterday's news.
Well, then I would like to welcome our old news is good news. All right, please, come on up.
So I just want to give a quick update on the Connect DuPage program.
Do you want to come back here? 'Cause
Sure.
you'll be
Oh,
seated,
am I
if
in
you
the
don't
corner?
mind. Yeah, that would be great.
So I would like to update you on Connect DuPage, and this is the Supplier Diversity Program and Commercial Collaboration Program for the DuPage County business community. And at this point, we've basically secured our vendor who is helping us gather the information, the data. And we've created a web page, and I don't have it here to show you today, but our web page is now up and running on the Choose DuPage website. And it highlights where businesses can go to download a report. A sample of the report is right here, and I'll go through that in a second. But it also provides a portal for any business in DuPage County who is not a certified business to go in and to input their information and to become part of our database. And the importance of that is that we are going to be doing a programming campaign, an event campaign, where we're going to try and get businesses to certify. We're going to educate them on the importance of certifying by bringing in the Women's Business Development Center and other certifying agencies to understand how they can become part of the process and how to go about the certification process. So please, when you have a chance, go view our website. I think it looks great. And as I mentioned, this is kind of what we've created to give to the DuPage businesses. This is what basically what we're calling our supplier diversity report. And any business can come to Choose DuPage and request this on our website. And basically what this does is it will give an industry overview of their particular industry. It also provides a supply chain breakdown of their industry sector and how it breaks out in DuPage County. So from this supply chain analysis, you can see, where a particular industry sector is strong or where a particular supplier is strong. And then from that, in the last section, we can take that supply chain analysis and actually connect it to diverse businesses who are located here in DuPage County. And remember, the point of this is to promote commercial collaboration, to enhance local supply chains, but it's also to elevate our diverse businesses. So we think that this document will help do that and is a good start. One thing that we do need to do, and this is our next step, is to really market the heck out of this program and really put it in simple terms. And our marketing campaign is going to be targeted towards all businesses in DuPage County, but it's also going to be targeted towards the diverse businesses in DuPage County and connecting the two. So I have some of our digital ads that we have created that will soon be launched. Sorry, I just have a couple of copies of those. But we will be running a digital ad campaign. We'll also be doing a social media campaign on this entire program. We'll be emailing all businesses. We have a great database. So marketing is going to be really key for this program. So we're really going to push the marketing side of this program. I also wanted to note that Greg and I have been taking this program to the DuPage business community. We've met with some of the larger companies here in DuPage, hospitals, private companies, public companies, and we have received great feedback so far on this. We think, it could be a valuable resource to any company in DuPage County. And for instance, if you take a hospital, this is a sample of a hospital report that we would provide. Even just, it may not be what a hospital would use to go after their manufacturers, to get to their supplies. But when it comes to, say, sourcing, janitorial services, or any other services, this is going to be a great document for them to connect with businesses. Anything else, Greg?
No, I think as Lisa pointed out, the report that you have, the sample report, we chose purposely because when we met with Edward Elmhurst Hospital, the first thing they said was we need to buy from a larger, diverse population. Can this help us? And the short answer is yes. And if you kind of, we don't have a ton of time, but if you walk through the entire thing, that last sheet that you see right there, that's kind of an indication of, okay, that's what you asked for. Here's the businesses in DuPage that meet the criteria for what you're looking for. Now, it's up to them, obviously, to go out and help make that connection, but then it's up to us to go connect with those businesses, put them through the system, get them certified as a DFWBE vendor, and away we go from a connectivity standpoint. Another very interesting thing that has come out of this initiative for Choose DuPage is the amount of requests that we're receiving regarding, Anthony, when you said 100,000 wasn't enough from a salary perspective. The amount of requests that we're getting as a result of the limited marketing we've done on this to this point on wage pressures due to the inflationary environment that we're living in right now from our businesses has been astronomical. It's shifted from, we've been in front of you before, we talked about labor and the need to just find bodies. How do you hire these people now? What's a good salary starting point? What's a good wage analysis? This tool helps us with the wage analysis as well, which is really valuable for the business community, especially in light of inflationary pressures.
And it also is a good resource for businesses on who to connect to get employers. So if you look within this document, it shows, where graduates in DuPage County are coming from. So I think that will be a useful tool as well for them. And just to point out too, the very last page, this is kind of a sample report. This report could be much larger, but what we're doing is connecting supply chains by NAICS codes. And so if you look at the very last page, I think that's a sample of medical manufacturing companies in DuPage County. That's just one section of this huge supply chain where we can, this will be probably 100 pages long if we had to help these companies. So there's much more information that will be contained in this document than what's here. But I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
The website itself.
Oh, perfect. So I think Courtney just posted this yesterday. I think we have to search on where it is, unfortunately.
Here to learn more about doing business.
Sorry, but I think we have to. I
No,
don't know
that's,
exactly.
that's, I think, just our generic
Oh, okay.
page, the connect your page site. I don't believe is live just yet.
It's,
Okay.
you have to do it through the search app up there. If you could do that, I'm not sure. But sorry.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any questions?
Senator Selman.
And I'm sorry, you might have covered this in a prior meeting. When you were talking about the certification agencies, it was City of Chicago, but then it said like PACE and IDOT.
Yeah.
So can you guys certify women and minority businesses like that? Or are you helping them learn how to do it and go apply with the state agency or whatever it is?
Right, we're not doing any kind of certifications.
Okay.
Our program here is to bring those certifying agencies to DuPage County and bring the businesses into the room
You're just
and
making sure
connect,
it's all-
educate. Yeah, and also.
We're not authorized members.
That's what I thought. I didn't think you
We're
were,
not.
but I didn't. think, like,
Legislatively, you have to go through a big, long process. What we are doing, for anybody who's ever been through that process, it is a daunting process. So there's legal requirements, there's banking requirements, there's consulting requirements. Our board of directors have agreed to step up and provide those services for people who are going through this process. I believe on a pro bono basis. If they didn't, I just said it for the record. So now they're doing it for free. So we will be the concierge and the shepherd.
Oh, that's awesome. 'Cause I know that's something Member DeCiani had mentioned of how the bar is so high and so confusing. It's an Illinois special, so yeah, we're making that less confusing.
We're also working very closely with Illinois PTAC and the Small Business Development Center at the College of DuPage and Rita Hockey. And so I think between the two of us, we have a great program lined up. And Rita is going to be really instrumental in helping to bring together the certifying agencies and the businesses too. So yeah, we've established a partnership with her as well.
I think this is really exciting because I think the first time you brought it up to us, the most exciting part was maybe we could fix the supply chain issues for our businesses right here at home, which is brilliant on its own, but having it, you can adjust wages, find all these suppliers, it's just a really comprehensive tool for our businesses who we all know they need extra help. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's definitely expanded more than what we thought it was going to be. And I think it's useful, especially in this economy right now.
It is.
So.
I mean, it's constantly changing, and I think this is going to show that because you'll be able to track some of these trends and what's going on. So I think this is a huge network possibility where we're just linking people together.
Right.
So that's amazing. So
Right.
thank you. Okay, great, wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thanks, Lisa. All right. Okay, well, I think we can move on to procurement requisitions. So may I get a motion for FIP 018822, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to CH Advisors to conduct a disparity study analysis period June 14th through November 30th, 2023. This is a contract amount not to exceed $209,000. Vendor is in compliance with the Governmental Joint Purchasing Act, and this is an ARPA item. Okay. All right. Any questions on this? I just want to make a quick comment that I think I really want to thank the procurement team for getting this down, for really looking at our internal resources on this to make sure that, I mean, I got this down, you guys, from 500,000 to 209. This is no small feat. So I think it's a big jump. I think we really looked at what can we do in-house? What kind of resources do we have? What information do we have? We really dug deep into that. And so I really want to thank the finance team, the procurement team for making this happen. So thank you. Go ahead, Member
Yeah, I
Ryan.
just want to say, I am so glad to see this come to fruition. I mean, it was been over a couple of years ago. I talked to Chris Schneider, and it was kind of all the things we can't do. Talked to Greg Bedlove about some of the things we might be able to do. And to look to see this, just taking off in so many different ways. I really feel like we're in good hands with this committee, Anthony, with everybody who's helped. And I'm just thrilled to see DuPage kind of get on board here.
Yeah.
Several years too late, but
We're getting there, right? And I think that we've really hit the ground running. I mean, making these things happen in such short order between the software, the community partners, the getting a compliance officer, getting that our requisition out there for someone, making sure we're in compliance with the Public Act. I mean, all these things collided all at once. And man, it took a team to make sure that it went smoothly, and it did. So remember the plan.
I would like to say thank you for making this happen. And so this committee, and so this whole initiative is a brilliant idea because, to your point, if you didn't think it didn't happen fast enough, it's happening now thanks to this committee and the work that we're seeing. And I would like to thank the staff as well. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you. All right, wonderful. So do we have any other questions about the requisition? No, can we get, I think I made a comment, so we still need to get approval. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, any old business? No, any new? Wow, without objection, I think we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.